Content advisory. This episode contains discussion of loss of life, grief, and suicide. Please listen with care.
I'm Leilani.
And I'm Cassie.
And we're just two middle-aged fangirls who love geeking out about our favorite things.
K-pop and K-pop adjacent entertainment.
Join us monthly for discussions, activities, and games.
We're rating this show PG-13-ish.
It's usually pretty innocent, but you may occasionally hear some foul language and mature topics discussed.
If this all sounds good to you, then grab your light stick and come along with us, because we're K-popping around town.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for coming back to K-popping around town.
Hello, we are so excited for episode 3.
I can't believe we're already 3 episodes in.
Yay! So today we are going to talk about our alt groups. But first, I would like to give a shout out to our very first comment, which was really exciting on Spotify. So I don't know if we have any more, but this is the only one that I noticed. This is from Ashley, who said, "Awesome first episode. Can't wait for more." Thank you so much for listening, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley. We appreciate it, and we hope to have lots more fun content for you to get excited over.
Yay. Okay. So we're each sharing about our three top groups, right? I chose 3. Did you choose 3 too?
I did.
All right, awesome.
I follow the rules, Cassie.
Well, I said that this episode was going to be loosey-goosey, and you could make your own rules.
I know, but once it's lots of years of Catholic school just ingrained in the brain of like, if you say something, say yes, I have 3 as well.
Okay, I understand. I only had 4 years of Catholic school, but I still understand. Okay, so why don't we each do, go back and forth, each do one group. All right, do you want to start?
I sure do. Our alt of alt groups, I would dare say, not to make any spoilers for Cassie's list, but my first group is BTS. I am considered a butter army. So in the timeline of BTS, I am considered an army that joined during butter. I had heard of BTS, who I think it's very hard not to have at least heard of them, because they are the largest group in the world. Period, mic drop, end of sentence. So I had heard of them. I wasn't into that type of music at all, really. I would consider myself a more of indie pop, indie rock. I was an alternative kid growing up. But I used to watch a lot of music videos on YouTube, which would have ads. And at the time that butter was out, they were promoting the new Samsung phone, which is superior to all iPhones. Just dropping that in there.
I beg to differ.
You may beg. You may. But that constant playing of butter and the little choreo they would have in the commercial. We'll see if we can. I'm sure I can find it on YouTube and we'll put it in the show notes. But it just kept banging into my head over and over and over again. And it worked because then I started watching more videos and seeing their choreo. And I have a little funny side story on that. I really thought that they had different colored eyes for the longest time. I thought they had blue and gray and all these colors that they have in the music videos. And I was devastated to find out that they just had their naturally gorgeous brown eyes, which they all have beautiful eyes. But I really thought that they were this specific group of Korean men with light colored eyes. But I just fell in love with them. It was very much, I'll admit, the choreo and the flashiness of some of the music videos. But then as I dove in more and I got to learn their personalities and their names and their backstories, I just fell in love with them. I really, really did. They are so funny and so unique in their own way. And I think they really are unique in K-pop. They are the largest group in the world for a reason. I think there's something that really does set them apart. And I've been hooked ever since. And I will say the other reason they are my alt group is because I joined a Facebook group for Army in Michigan, and that's how I met Cassie and some of my other really good friends. So
Yay.
I have a very special place in my heart for Army and for BTS, and that's how I got to know them.
What were do you remember what some of the first, like when you started to get to know them after the Samsung commercial, what were some of the first songs and videos that drew you in?
DNA sticks in my head.
Yeah.
I was like, who are these guys doing this like twisty connected arm choreo thing? I'd never seen anything like that. I think Cassie and I can both relate. We grew up I grew up, like I said, an alternative kid, so I wasn't that much into it, but I had known of NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and I was like, thought that was choreo. I had no idea what choreo was until I saw them. And their music is just catchy. I think Idol was another early one that I really liked. And then I found Dimple. And I still know, like, I still understand little to no Korean, in all honesty, but they kept saying the word illegal, illegal, illegal. And I was really interested. What the heck were they talking about was illegal? And then I looked at the lyrics. I'm like, they're talking about dimples? I love this song. And then when I heard the rumor that Namjoon either allegedly wrote it about himself or something, or one of the other members, just made me love it even more. But I think those were the first 3 songs that like burned into my head. And the choreo for Dimple is so sweet and sassy, and I just love it. And moving on to my bias, I'll pause. Well, we'll edit a dramatic pause in here for if anybody can guess who it would be.
I'll do a drum roll.
Okay. Excellent drum roll. Thank you. My bias is Jin. He is somebody that I've had journeys with biases with other groups where maybe I found somebody else that I liked and then I kind of moved over to someone else. You know, Jin, I think because BTS was the first group I got into, he's solidly been my K-pop husband since day one. Like, he is the number one, absolutely alt for me. I have a no album buying rule because it can get very expensive in K-pop land to buy all the albums except for his. So you bet.
He's your album hall pass.
He is my album hall pass. So he's the only one. When Happy and Echo came out, I bought all the versions. When I went to see him in concert, I was like a bala. I was like, I will have this and this and this and this and this. So he's the only one. And he just, I mean, I could have a whole like 5-hour TED talk about how much I love him.
I think we should only do another episode specifically on biases.
Yes. But what I love about him, obviously, he's absolutely gorgeous. I'm pretty sure he's a vampire because he looks the same for the past like 11 or 12 years. And he loves to cook. He's a foodie. I love food too. And he is so silly. He's just so silly and does not care. He also has an ungodly level of confidence, which I can relate with. And so like all of that together, and he's the oldest member in the group. That was a relief when I first got into K-pop because I was like, I won't say how much older I am than most of the members, but he was the one where I was like, I feel less creepy about this. He is only, I think 11 years younger than I am. And so all of that together, he's just such a nice guy from all accounts. He's a really good older brother to the group. He loves playing games. He's just a goofball. He's just such a goofball. And I love that about him. And I love that he's an introvert. Believe it or not, so am I. So I could relate to that. I know I think there was a party or something that album release party or Hobie had for something. And like he did his rounds and then you can see him asking Hobie, like, can I go home now? And I'm like, yes, me too. So that's why I love him. And yeah, he'll always have a special place in my heart as my first bias. As far as my top songs, Dimple, I talked about on Man.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's just such a cheery. I just love everything about it. I love the vibe. I love the way they perform it. They are so happy. It's like so much joy and happiness. Microcosmos. Dope. Dope, yes. I have on there because it's one of their older songs, but that is another music video that I saw early on. I was like, who are these boys? These guys are just great. And that's when it cemented my love of Jin, because he was the doctor in the music video. And I was like, who are you? Mic Drop. I know it's a really popular one, but I just, oh my gosh. Had a good opportunity to, that's not what I'm trying to say. I was blessed to see J-Hope live. And when he did his part of Mic Drop, I lost it. So I can't even imagine what it's going to be like to see them all do it live. And Magic Shop. Yes. Yeah. It's held a really special place for me at really hard moments in my life. And so, and I think that's something else. I think in general with BTS, I would say I started listening to them in like mid to late 22. And then in 23, I really dove in, and it was during a really hard part of my life that I found them, and they really, really helped. So that is my first alt group. Who is your first alt group, Cassie?
I have the same one. Yeah, so I'm going to share the story of how I got into BTS. So unlike you, I hadn't heard of them. For a good decade, I was so completely out of the loop with any type of pop culture. I just listened to my podcasts and that was it. But New Year's Eve, like New Year's of turning from 2021 to 2022, my daughter was introduced to BTS and K-pop by her friend. And so for almost a full year, both my kids were really into specifically BTS, but a couple other K-pop groups as well. And we listened to them all the time. In the car, in the kitchen, in the living room. They talked about them all the time. And I loved this for them. The mom, I loved that they were excited about artists who were not from the US because they were getting a little bit of exposure to Korean culture and language. And that just made my heart so happy because I think that's so important. But Leilani, I was a grown-up and this was a boy band. And I understood that boy bands are for kids. I was super into NSYNC in middle school. I loved boy bands. But I never got into One Direction or the Jonas Brothers because that all happened when I was a grown-up. Grown-ups don't do boy bands.
They don't. They just
So
don't.
I just, was like, okay, like you have fun with your little boy bands, kids. I'm going to be over here with my NPR. And so I was listening to their music. It was in one ear, out the other, with one big exception that I want to share. We Are Bulletproof the Eternal. That song landed. My son used to listen to this. Picture this, Leilani. He's 8 years old. He used to sit in his room listened to this song on repeat while making rainbow loom bracelets. And
Wow.
I would go in there to put away laundry, and I would just sort of stay, like instead of putting all the socks in the drawer, I'd put them in one at a time because the vibe was so beautiful and sweet. But I couldn't go listen to the song on my own, because I'm a grown-up. This is a boy band. So I had to just kind of be accidentally listening to it.
By osmosis.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, yes.
Yes. And then I'm going to share one more anecdote. During this time period, I found out that my little nieces were into them. And then one day my daughter told me that their dad, my brother-in-law, was a fan. And I was like, sure, a grown man likes BTS. Okay. So I sent him a text message as a joke. And I said, I heard you're a super huge BTS fan. And he wrote back, yeah, we're all ARMY in our family. And I was like, okay. I did not know what to do with that. But so we get to summer, and my daughter and I decide that she's going to teach me the names of who everyone is. And we debate whose idea this was. We both think it was the other person's idea. So she has this magazine, and we sit down, and she shows me a picture, and she shows me who everyone is. And then she flips the page, and I'm supposed to tell her in the next picture who's who. This is 2022. So we're working with 9 years of hair changes. So I'm like, okay, I don't see any blue hair. Where's V? So I realized I need to watch videos to get to know who they are. I can't follow it just with these little tiny magazine pictures. So my kids went to visit my parents for a week. This is before they lived by us. And I thought, I'm going to study while they're gone. And I'm going to come back and know who everybody is. And we had decided that I was going to learn 2 members at a time. And we were starting with Jungkook and Jimin. So I went and I found a video for each. And I'm going to share what they were. The first one, first you need to know, I later went back as ARMY and watched this video again and loved it. But that day, not having any idea who he was, I tried to watch the vlog of Jimin making a bracelet, and I thought it was boring, and I could not get very far into it because I didn't love him yet. And I was like, why would anybody spend their time sitting and watching this? I feel a lot of shame about it now. Again, I have gone back and loved it, but that's where I was in my journey at that moment. But the next video, I was like, okay, I'm going to go on to the Jungkook video. This is what changed my life forever. It was right after Left and Right came out with Charlie Puth. So I watched behind the scenes recording sketch. And the very moment that made me fall in love with him was he's recording the song and he's trying to pronounce the word tangled. And he's doing it over and over again because he wants to pronounce it perfectly.
Aww.
And I'm watching it thinking, dude, we know that English is not your first language. It's okay if you don't pronounce it exactly the same way Charlie does.
Right.
But he was so dedicated and so insistent on getting it just right. I was absolutely in awe.
Aww.
And then a day or two later, I was driving and I was listening to the radio and the song came on. I'm getting chills.
Aww.
And I'm listening to his parts and he sings and the word comes up, tangled, and he sings it perfectly.
Aww.
And I cheer out loud. You did it! That's my boy! And that was the moment I was hooked. And I still wasn't super hooked on the music, but I was just like, I love you. You are amazing. So, to be a good mom, just, to be nice to my daughter, I started watching more stuff and continuing my studies.
That's the only reason. Understood.
My life was forever changed. But then, I kind of started doing some extra credit. Started,
'Cause you're an
listening a little bit on
overachiever.
my own. What?
Because you're an overachiever.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Of course.
The first song that drew me in actually is Jin's Moon. That is so beautiful. That is the first one that really drew me in. But so that's the story of how
It is a beautiful song.
It is
absolutely
a beautiful
gorgeous
song. So that's the story of how I went down this rabbit hole. My bias is Jimin, and I'll share more of my Jimin journey on another episode, but I just love him because he's just an angel. And I wanted to share what I love most about BTS. One, I think of them as the antidote to toxic masculinity. And as I learned more and more, I became more and more excited about my kids watching them because I love the way they show vulnerability, the way they cry on stage, on camera. I think that's so important for kids to see the way they love each other. And it's never like a Joey Chandler cool guy, like we're going to hug and then we're going to come apart and like thump our chests and pretend that didn't happen. They just hug and say, I love you. And they're just like cool with that. I think that's so wonderful. And then their lyrics. It's always been a pet peeve of mine that practically every single song is about love, sex, one of those two things. And they just have so many other topics in their music. They have the whole themes based on the work of Dr. Carl Jung. They have a song about the loneliest whale in the world, Pluto no longer being a planet. And at first, I thought that was a K-pop thing in general. But the more I get into multi-standing, the more I realize that's an RM thing. Like this is his unique mind and his genius makes their lyrics so unique. And I love that so much about them.
Can I intercept with an anecdote of my own?
Yeah.
On that? One of them, when you were talking about that there, the antidote to toxic masculinity, that reminds me, I'm sure you've seen it, where they were doing an interview and I think a female journalist had reached out to Namjoon and was calling them out for some of the misogyny in their earlier work. Way, their very first debut songs and around that time period. And that Namjoon just took it to heart, learned from it, accepted the feedback, didn't get feathers ruffled or anything like that. And really, I think he admitted himself it was a turning point for their music. And I think that for me, that moment and the way that he pivoted and learned and grew from it is just one of the many, many, many examples of why we love them. Yes, and love him specifically.
Yes, I love that story so much because human beings make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. We don't get everything right the first time. And, we have so many debates about cancel culture and should your career be over forever because you make a mistake? And this is such a beautiful example of you can make a mistake and learn and grow from it and do better and go on to still have a great career because you learned and grew and did better. And what an amazing example for everybody. Thank you for bringing that up. I forgot about that in the moment. I love that so much. So I really like to have my labels in my neat and tidy boxes. So I've worked really hard to define my top 3 favorite songs. So here they are. In no particular order, my 3 favorite songs. Magic Shop, Life Goes On Panman, and Idol. And you can do the math on that and decide whether or not I have succeeded in choosing my top 3 favorite songs. And I want to say this moment is a snapshot in time. We are recording this at the beginning of March, just a couple weeks before Aridan. So these are our favorite songs right before. And I'm feeling a little bit of anticipatory grief.
Yes.
Because we don't know what's coming. Like
we don't.
The favorite song lineup that I have worked so hard on establishing could change.
It could.
We will see. So that is where we are right now with BTS. Should we move on to number 2?
It's hard. It's very hard. But yes, let's move on to number 2 because we could literally talk all day about BTS. Mm-hmm. And we have.
And we have.
And we have. So my second favorite group, and it's really, I would say that it was hard for me to pick because I have different favorites for different reasons, I'm sure. But I think my second and third are in my heart tied for different reasons. But I will say that my second is BoyNextDoor. They are also under HYBE. So they're in the same building as BTS. And my journey with them, I had a lot of FOMO in my early ARMY days because I found them like almost 11 years or almost 10 years after they had debuted. Mm-hmm. And I missed so many of those moments and I wish I had known about them. Well, we've talked about this before. I don't know if I would have followed them if I just had heard their debut music at first. That wasn't really my vibe, but I wish I had caught up with them earlier and known more about them. So when I was on Weverse and learning all about Weverse when I was an ARMY, I saw that there was a group coming out called BoyNextDoor. And I thought, great, here's a chance for me to get in on, ground level with the group and get to know them. And I just fell in love. They really are. Their vibe is, as their name says, the image they portray is very accessible, very friendly, very fun. And they're all very young. I call them the puppies because they are very young. And I also call them the puppies to separate in my mind that they are very, very young gentlemen. And they are in kind of that safe, they are my adopted children category. And I root for them and want them to do very well. I just love everything about them and their image, how talented they are. They are also, I think, very open about how much they care about each other. They are considered, I have to look this up because I did not write this down. I think BoyNextDoor is 5th gen.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So they are really one of the newer groups. I think they just had their 2nd anniversary, and I think they're coming up on their 3rd in May. So they also combat that toxic masculinity. And I think a lot of that is because groups like BTS, the 3rd and some of the 4th gen had broken some of those walls. And so they're very affectionate towards each other. My bias, Jaehyun, who is the leader of the group, he cries so much and I love it. He cries when they win awards. He cries when they lose awards. And I'm not making fun of him. I'm really not. Like, he is so in touch with his feelings. He gets so emotional, and his group members they tease him a little bit about it, but it's all in good fun, and they really care about each other. And when you have a leader who's so young yet so in touch with his feelings, I think it really does set a good example. And they're also just super, super talented, I think. And I've loved seeing their journey. I've loved seeing them win some awards where they get super excited and cheer on each other. I think this year they're coming out with a new EP, so very excited about that. Hoping and not hoping in equal measure that they tour soon because I don't have the money to see them. But I would love to see them live. And I feel like a very proud parent with them, that they are I'm just really proud of them. My bias, this one was a little bit of a journey because Jaehyun is my bias now, but the one that really drew me in was Unhak, TBD on the pronunciation, but I think they say Unhak.
I think so.
He is the maknae of the group, and they're so young. He's literally shot up like a weed. So I think he is the tallest member in the group now, if not one of the tallest. But when he started, he was so young, he was still in high school. And he was in high school and still being an MC on some of the shows and doing this work. But he was a very busy maknae. So he drew me in because if you see him, you just want to hug him.
Yeah,
He's just
so
adorable.
cute.
He is so cute. But Jaehyun really got me because he just is like, he has no poker face. He just expresses everything in his face. And I have this one picture, if I can find it, we'll put it in the show notes, of him where I think he's at a show and he's looking up as the confetti's falling, and his eyes are just so full of wonder. Aww. I think that just gets my heart. Like, it really does. I have, so they really do have very catchy music. They are not Namjoon, I will give you that. They are not at that level of lyricism, but they are very talented. So some of my favorite songs, I love Our, Nice Guy.
Oh, wait, there's a song called R.
Yes.
O-U-R. Okay.
O-U-R.
I thought you were like really setting the stage. They are.
They are. Okay. I'm building the anticipation. No, Our, Nice Guy, Let's Go See the Stars.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
And one of their newest songs, Hollywood Action. I really like that song.
It's fun.
But that is my BoyNextDoor journey, my puppies.
Yay.
What is your second favorite?
So, again, I like to have things very defined. So I have created a whole system where I have my first best boys, and I only have one first best boys. And then I have two second best boys. And they are SHINee and then BamBam. And there's a whole thing about, does it have to be a group? Can it be someone on their own? It can be someone on their own. But I'm going to talk about SHINee first and then BamBam next. So again, this is going to be mostly the story of how I got into them. And this one was really a journey. I really went into this one kicking and screaming. So I got into BTS, as I said, summer of 2022. Initially, I did not want to be a multi-stan, both because I knew I did not have time for that, which was very true, and because I didn't want to cheat on BTS. But I finally relented and started looking at other groups in early 2023. And then I started hosting these virtual K-pop watch parties, which is how Leilani and I met, because I didn't have a lot of K-pop friends in the beginning. So I would post the invites in that group that Leilani mentioned. But I think in the first one, maybe, I had a Super M video. And I wasn't like really like into a lot of different groups. I didn't really know many. So I was just kind of like throwing random stuff on there. I had this really amazing Super M song. Do you want to guess what it was?
Oh, is it my least favorite Super M
It was
song?
a really quality song called Jopping.
Oh, gosh.
Which, I'm sorry, I like that song. I think it's fun.
I love Super M because it really is the top of the top for me and a lot of K-pop artists, but Jopping? Okay. It's like the ring ding dong of
I love
Super
ring
M.
ding dong.
I do too. But I think that I feel like where ring ding dong doesn't take itself seriously, my perception of Jopping is it takes itself way too seriously.
Well, this is how I met Taemin, so it's serious in my heart. But so my multi-stan friends were all like, "Oh, Taemin!" And they said that I needed to meet Taemin because I love Jimin. And then they were like, "Oh, and his other group." And I'm like, "Other group?" Because I didn't know what Super M was. So they explained Super M to me, which if anybody doesn't know, Super M, the company SM took some of the most popular members from various groups and for a limited time put them together in this super group. So SHINee's Taemin was in it. And they said, you need to watch this video. They sent me the Jimin Taemin dance-off video. They said, if you love Jimin, you're going to love Taemin. He's from SHINee. You need to watch this. And I was like, hell no, because I was in this honeymoon phase of K-pop. I was in a constant state of euphoria. It was my happy place. Nothing could touch me there. Everything was just rose-colored glasses, amazing all the time. And I knew one thing about SHINee, and that was that they had lost a member to suicide. And I was just like, I can't go down a road that is so sad. And the reason why I knew that one thing is because I had read a magazine about BTS, and it was all about BTS, except they had that infuriating article that was like the dark side of K-pop, that was about artists who have died. And they had a picture of Jung. And I remember the name SHINee because I was like, wow, that's a really cool name. But I had very unfairly assumed that the group would have disbanded after his death. I had no reason to assume that. I just did. But so when I found out that they were still going, I was like, well, that's weird. So I, was just very prejudiced against them. And I was like, no, not get into them. But then that summer, the Hard album came out. So they were just kind of on my radar because I listened to tons of podcasts. Everyone was talking about them. But the Hard album is actually my least favorite SHINee album. So it just wasn't landing for me. I was putting the videos on my watch party playlists because I knew that other people liked them. So they were still, I was seeing them, I was hearing them, but I still wasn't into them. But then at the end of summer, I was listening to a podcast. Shout out to Kathy and Lada from MIA2K. And they were doing their big episode on their biases. And they were talking about Taemin. And they were like, look, some people say they don't like Taemin, but I promise your idol loves him because he's the idol's idol. And I'm just like, ugh, this guy again. But they drew a line from Taemin to Jimin to Stray Kids' Hyunjin. 3 beautiful, angelic, baby-faced, feminine men.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, here it is again. Everybody says that if I love Jimin, I need to get to know Taemin. And I sent them a message about it because I had a question about a quote that they had referenced. And they sent me back a video of Jimin and Taemin together doing the guilty challenge. It had just happened. And I was like, okay, I relent. I give in. I will check out this group. So I started listening to SHINee music that was not the Hard album. And I immediately fell in love. And I just had this feeling of coming home. Their music just felt like home to me.
That's beautiful.
But I was still like, I needed to kind of know how everything was handled after Jonghyun's death. So I started doing some research because I didn't know. I had super prejudice, super unfair. I had no reason to think anything badly about the way it was handled. But I kind of had this assumption that maybe they just had moved on, pretending that nothing had happened. But I learned that actually the members spoke very honestly about how hard it was. They spoke very openly about going to trauma therapy together, which I loved. They, had some performances with really beautiful tributes to him, or again, everybody cries on stage. And so that just gave me a lot of peace of mind that they're still actively carrying his memory and actively speaking about him. And then I watched this video, which I felt really bad about watching because I was like, this is not for me, but it's on YouTube and I'm human and I'm curious. But there are some clips from his funeral on YouTube. Fortunately, not a lot, but there's this clip of other idols walking into the building and BTS walks in and I see Namjoon and I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can handle following this group because Namjoon is here. And so once I let myself really get into them, I realized that I love this because this is a fandom that can hold the both and. This is a fandom that can handle the sadness and the grief next to the joy and the fun and the laughter. And I just love them so much. And so once I accepted it, I dove in. They were very clearly, strongly second best boys. And
that's a really beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I want to acknowledge, like, it's very different for me coming in 2023, you know, already knowing the history and what's going to happen than it is for somebody who had been there from the beginning. But I just really wanted to share, because so much of K-pop is so fun and games. We don't always talk about how do we handle it when it gets sad. And I really love that there are places where you can have these open conversations. So I wanted to talk about that very openly and honestly. But then, so my bias is a very sensitive subject because, like I keep saying, I like neat and tidy labels. I don't have a good neat and tidy label for this. At first, I thought obviously my bias is going to be Taemin, because just obviously it's part of the Taemin, Jimin, Hyunjin line. So, you know, at first I was like, okay, like obviously I love Taemin. But then I see Minho, and it was just like he came and knocked on my door, and I opened it up and said, "Oh, hi. I don't know you, but please come in and stay forever." It was just like this moment of connection. But then more recently, I don't think I ever told you about this. You were in Japan when this happened. I was driving to work and I was listening to Onyu, and it just hit me. Oh, I think he's my bias. And then I missed my turn and I was late for work because I was all confused. And yeah, so that's a very confusing part of the journey for me that I'm still sorting through. It's a continued path. But yeah, so that part's confusing. And I already said, like, what I think what I love most about SHINee is just being in this fandom that can hold the both and having this place where you can go with your deep feelings and the funny, joyful moments, because they are hilarious. So there's a lot of really fun laughter. And narrowing down favorite songs is hard because, so many. My top 3, in no particular order, are Replay. Back to the all-time best debut song. They could have stopped there, and according I still would have loved them. According to science. According to science.
Science that Cassie founded, but go ahead.
Ayo, that is one of my feel-good songs. They have a couple of performance videos. This is an old one, so they're all 5 together. As far as I know, it doesn't have any choreo. The performances, they just kind of run around on stage and act goofy. And this is one of those videos that I just watch when I'm having a bad day and I just need like an emotional blankie. It's just so sweet. Tell Me What to Do. And Lucifer is probably the song that really like brought me in when I was like, okay, the hard album isn't doing it for me. But then I heard Lucifer and I was like, oh, I can get on board with this. So that is SHINee. That is my first second best boys.
I just wanted to point out that was 4 songs.
I know. It's Shawwal math.
Okay. I just, I'm not judging, but okay. So my second/3, because I really could interchange the two, is Tomorrow by Together, aka TXT. This was a very, I would say, organic journey. As I was watching a lot of K-pop videos, Sugar Rush Ride was out. Mm-hmm. And the video I actually saw was not the regular video, but the performance video where they're kind of like under this tree and it looks very fairy tale, like fantasy. And they did the choreo and I was just, okay, what's this? I was just sucked in. And then I learned more about them, found out that they were the second boy group that Big Hit had put out. And so in my mind, and probably a lot of other ARMY's minds, they're BTS's little brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're all gigantic, they're all way taller than BTS members. And I think they're super underrated. I believe that, not that they're not popular, I think they are very popular, but I think people sometimes put them on this, dog cat, and they do Sugar Rush Ride and this, very like fun, poppy, catchy songs, Magic, all of that. But I think they have so much depth to them, and they're all talented in their own ways. Yeonjun, I could talk about Yeonjun all day, but he's the oldest member in the group, and he just came out with a solo album, No Labels Part 1. Run, don't walk. Go listen to that right now. Pause our podcast. Go listen to it and then come back. It's just incredible. I think they're all really good artists on their own. And when I saw them in person, since my K-pop journey is pretty recent, they were the first real quote unquote K-pop group I saw live. Mm-hmm. And I was blown away. The artistry, the stage, all of it. It was really such good energy. And MOAs are just such great, fun people. Mm-hmm. So I just really like them. And I think it's been a really fun journey because I've seen them, I would say probably about maybe halfway through since they came out. So I've been following them and just seeing them all grow up together and play around with each other. And I think they're also very in touch with their emotions as well. And I think this is direct connection to my bias, Subin. So Bamgu was my first bias. Mm-hmm. But then I learned more and more about Subin, and I just really fell in love with him, with his his personality and how just everything, like the presence he brings. He seems to lead with his heart, but not be overbearing, but also be like in charge in certain situations and things of that nature. But one of the things I love about Subin, and I think the change in the K-pop industry, last November, December, it was announced that he was taking a break for his mental health. And I was so proud of him. Yeah. I really was. Like, being a leader in a group and having the ability to do that. So I give a big kudos to the company, the group, and the MOA in general to say, yes, this is something that we will accept, we will support. Mm-hmm. And then it really did seem like he came back with a lot more energy, and then decided to flash his abs at us right away when he came back in the choreo for Love Language. But that's why I love them.
I love that.
My favorite songs, in no particular order, are Take My Half. So this is a solo song from Bamgu on one of their Japanese albums. No, I'm lying. It's not Japanese, but it is one of my favorite songs. The Killa, it's a Yeonjun, Subin duet, and the choreo, just go watch it.
Okay.
Just go watch it. Magic. I love Magic because it's all in English, so it's the one song I can sing along with them, and the choreo is really easy. We're Never Changing, so that is one of their Japanese songs. I don't know how to pronounce the Japanese title, but I love We're Never Changing, and I think that's one of the songs that they don't get enough credit for. If you go and listen to it, it's a really beautiful song.
I can't even picture that one. I will go listen to it.
Yes. Deep Down, that's another really good song. Blue Hour. I just love Blue Hour. Mm-hmm. It's so fun. And the music video with Yeonjun with pink hair and a cowboy hat will be forever cemented in my mind. Eternally. So you may want to, just trigger warning to anyone that listens to Eternally. It's an older song. There are gunshots in the song, but it's really interesting. I'll just say it that. Like, it's a really interesting song. and the actual best debut song of all time, Crown. Those are my favorites.
It is a good song. It's a really good song. I like that song very much. I would check your sources though.
My sources are me. I say that I am correct. Me, myself, and I have confirmed.
I want to make 2 comments real quick. Something I forgot to mention earlier. As I said, we're recording this before Arirang comes out for BTS, but we're publishing it after it comes out. So in case anybody was confused, I meant to say that earlier. But on TXT, I think it is so funny. If I'm remembering correctly, you were also, like me, very hesitant to become a multi-stan.
For sure.
Because when I met you, you told me that TXT was the only other group besides BTS that you let yourself listen to.
Yes.
And you said it's because they're in the same company.
Yep.
You and I went in exactly opposite directions because when I first started multi-standing, I went over to J-pop, Japanese pop, because I was like, it's not cheating if it's a different country. So you only let yourself listen to a group from the same company. And I only let myself listen to groups in a different industry. We went the opposite directions. I thought that was funny. Okay, thank you for sharing. My next one will be shorter. I don't have as long of a story. But so the other side of my second best boy tier is BamBam. And like I said, I went through quite a process. I love GOT7 as a whole. They're either 3rd or 4th tier best boy, depending on what chart I'm using. I have different charts. Some are just K-pop. Some include J-pop and other Q-pop, P-pop. We'll get into that in another episode.
Are they color-coded? Please tell me they're
They should be. You can help me.
You should work on that.
We should. You can help me. But I've decided that I can have someone on their own as a solo artist above the group if that is what my heart is telling me to do. So I have BamBam on his own. And again, through the watch parties in the early days, because I didn't know a ton of groups, I would put stuff on the playlist that I didn't know really well, but I would find things that I knew were popular. And I like to do these sort of extra content, but just behind the scenes things. So when I had GOT7 videos, I would find some extra content stuff. And I remember asking the group, who is that one? Because BamBam just has this smile that could stop traffic. He's so, and I'm not even super attracted to him. I just think his smile is so adorable. And so he caught my attention with that. And then when I go through what I call the exploratory phase with a group, I just, throw all the albums on a playlist, both the group albums and the member solo albums. And over again, I would just be listening to my playlists and I would hear a song and I would say, who is this? This song is amazing. And over again, it would be BamBam. Now, he is one of those artists where all of his songs sound very similar. So to love one BamBam song is to love them all. And I suppose that means the opposite could be true. If you listen to a couple and you don't love them, then maybe he's not for you. But I absolutely love him. I was super surprised to learn that he's a rapper in GOT7 because he doesn't rap a lot in his solo music, sings more, and a lot of his songs end up on my slower playlists. He's really great bedtime music. Or for me, dog training music when I have to listen to something. But I have to have it kind of quiet because I have to concentrate when I train dogs for work. So again, it's hard for me to distinguish favorite songs with him because they are so similar. But if I have to choose, I would say Taking It Easy, Sour and Sweet, and Must Be Nice are among my top 3. And
I'll have
my
to
favorite,
check those out.
You will. And my favorite things about him are his smile and his weirdo-ness. He is such a weirdo. If you need videos just to laugh, if you are having a rough day, just type BamBam into the search bar on YouTube and just let stuff show up and you will laugh. He is hilarious. I love him so much.
I love him too. because he's Thai.
He's Thai.
And I saw a clip of him. I think you shared it with me where he forgot.
Yep.
He was saying, like, somebody was asking him. They were on location somewhere, right, in another country, and somebody was asking him where he was from. I can't remember the context, but he said he was Korean, right?
Yeah, they asked him if he was from China, and he goes,
okay.
Korea.
And then he walks away, and like under his breath, he's like, "Wait, I'm
Thailand.
from Thailand. I'm from Thailand." I have a love affair with Thailand for a whole different reason, which we may or may not talk about at some point. But I love him because he's Thai. I'm going to have to, it would be interesting. We should look up his Thai name and see if we can put it in the show notes, unless you know it.
I have never tried to say it. It's like, it's out there. It's very long.
Okay. His name, BamBam's full Thai name is, please forgive me for butchering this. Kun Pimok is his first name. Buwakul. Kun Pimuk Buwakul. And that, from what I've seen, is a very short Thai name, actually. I've seen a lot longer.
And as far as I know, I think BamBam is his like official Thai nickname that he's had his whole life. I don't think it's a stage name that they made for GOT7.
Yes. And this may be inaccurate, but from what I've seen, I will take any feedback if this is not correct. But one of the reasons a lot of Thai people have these really interesting, unique nicknames is because evil spirits, if you call somebody by not their real name, the evil spirits won't attack the actual person.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's what I've read. I don't know how accurate that is, but I know that Thailand is a very devout Buddhist country. So I think that has something to do with that. But please correct me in the comments if I'm incorrect on that. But I think that that's why that's a whole nother topic. Let's just stop there because I'll talk about it all day.
That's really interesting. All right. We did our thing. Should we move on?
We should. To your surprise.
To my surprise.
Yes. So I picked 5 things. We're going to play Would You Rather.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this one isn't going to be as fast paced as the other one. So take a deep breath, because I think the listeners would really like to hear your answers and have you explain why.
Okay.
So would you rather have a picnic with Jimin or go shopping with BamBam? And but I mean shopping with BamBam, like somewhere you haven't been, not like going to the grocery store, but somewhere where it would be like interesting and fun. You guys could talk about what you find.
I will say picnic because I don't like shopping very much. That was hard.
That is fair. So what would you have at your picnic with Jimin? What would you guys eat?
I think I'd be afraid to eat. I think I'd be too nervous. I don't know why this is not something I ever eat, but the first thing that comes to mind is, what are they called? Those frozen sandwiches. You can get them in peanut butter and jelly or hazelnut spread. Smuckers.
Oh, the Uncrustables?
Yeah.
You would have Uncrustables with Jimin?
My love for Jimin is very motherly.
Okay.
So I think that maybe that's why that came to mind.
So you're going to have an Uncrustables picnic with Jimin. I love it. Yep. Maybe you can do it during cherry blossom season. And you guys can sit under a cherry blossom tree as the petals fall. Share your Uncrustables. Maybe give them a little Capri Sun juice pouch.
That is way too much sugar. An Uncrustable and a Capri Sun? No. You can have water.
Okay. So Uncrustables and a reusable water bottle.
Yes.
That sounds lovely. That really does. Okay. Next. Would you rather go to an art museum with Namjoon or a cat cafe with Taemin?
Both sound marvelous. But I'm going to go with cat cafe. I enjoy art museums, but I don't have a very long attention span for them. I really enjoy them for about 20 minutes. And I picture Namjooning at an art museum all day.
Yes.
So I could be at a cat museum until my allergies told me I can't be there anymore. I could be
That's
there
fair.
most of the day.
That's fair. But I mean, if you go to an art museum with Namjoon, you guys could do your 20 minutes and then you could go to one of my favorite things in the world are art museum gift shops. I love art museum gift shops. So you could go to the little art museum gift shop or the art museum cafe and let Namjoon.
I feel like I wouldn't have the ability to leave Namjoon if he was right there.
Oh, that's true though. That's true. But he could teach you so much. He could probably, I don't know if you guys have heard, as we're recording in March, he curated a collection at the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art.
I do want to, wait, are we going to his art museum? Because I do really want to go to that. Oh, okay.
No. Just an art museum.
Okay.
But that would be cool to go to his collection he curated with him and have him explain why he picked the pieces and have all the really high brain art stuff just go over my head. But I'd be like, that's incredible. I'd be like hanging off every word. Okay. Would you rather go to a cooking class with Jin or a workout class with Minho?
A cooking class with Jin.
That was quick.
I would love to watch a workout class that Minho attended. I would be way too self-conscious and embarrassed and frustrated to enjoy the workout class with Minho if I had to do it.
That's true. I think he would be like a grueling, like he'd be, yeah. Okay. Would you rather, you can guess which one I would pick. Well, maybe you couldn't, but go on a trip to Thailand with BamBam or a tour of Seoul with Hobie.
Both of these involve packing a suitcase.
Well, take that out of the equation. Somebody plans the trip for you, does everything. You just have to show up. You're already there.
This is really hard. I think I'm going to go BamBam because I think that hanging out with Hobie would be so much fun, but I have a lot of anxiety around travel. And I do wonder if he would kind of get strict dance leader personality if I was like doing something wrong and out of line, where I feel like BamBam and I would laugh the whole time.
Yes.
So, yes. Okay.
Well, if you do go with BamBam to Thailand, please bring me.
We'll see.
We'll see. This is why we have couples therapy. These are the type of interactions I have to bring up. You all are witness to this abusive behavior. Okay. Lastly, would you rather go to a Broadway musical or any type of musical with Onu or a painting class with Jungkook?
Musical. Because again, okay, for two reasons. One, I love musicals so much. And again, I would love to watch Jungkook paint. He gets so in the zone. You know, like in Run BTS, if they're doing some kind of like craft, he is in the zone. So I feel like we wouldn't really be interacting. I mean, it would be cool. He'd make something amazing. But I feel like Onu and I could be together in the zone of the musical. And we could cry together.
Oh, that would be very sweet.
Because it's so beautiful.
It is.
And we could hold hands.
Yes.
You can't hold hands while you're painting.
That's true.
Okay.
So you want to hold hands with Onu.
And cry.
And cry together while watching a musical.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Well, very good. You did very well.
Yay.
Good job. Good job on Would You Rather.
So I have a game for you too.
Oh, what?
Is that okay?
I was unprepared.
I know.
Okay.
So as we talked about last time, we kind of share a brain.
Yes.
This is not Would You Rather, but it is extremely similar.
Okay.
This game is called Who Would You Wanna With? So
I love it.
I'm going to lay out 3 scenarios, one at a
Okay.
time.
Okay.
And you're going to have to choose which one of your biases you're going to choose for the scenario. But because it's one at a time, you don't know, like you only really get the full choices the first time, and then you have the 2 choices the second time. And then,
okay.
you have
So I have my one group. I have my 3 people.
Yep. Jin,
and then I
Subin,
lose one of them as we go along.
Yeah. Jin,
Okay,
Subin,
gotcha.
and Jaehyun.
Okay.
And I don't know if this has been obvious yet to any listeners who don't know us personally. I'm a wee bit weird. These are odd scenarios. So just bear with us here. All right. Scenario number 1.
Okay.
Oh no, there's been some sort of internal disaster at the local post office, and everything, like there's letters everywhere. Everything is super disorganized, and they're calling on community members, jury duty style, where you just have to go drop everything you're doing and spend an entire day sorting these letters, and you get called up. Lucky for you, you get to invite one of your biases to spend the day with you, sorting all the mail. Who do you invite?
That's hard. I love Jaehyun, but he's out. He's just out. I don't think I would feel like I'd have to take care of him. Because he's a puppy in my mind, and I would be busy like mothering him and making sure he does everything right. Because I'm a control freak. I'd have to go with Subin.
Okay.
I'm going to say he's a leader of the group. So he's familiar with prioritization, I'm assuming, and making sure everyone's on task. So I would be happy to have him there and tell me what to do, which would be a nice break from always having to be the one in charge. So I would pick Subin.
All right. That sounds like
we
a
get
really
it done in no time.
Choice. Awesome.
Yes.
That sounds like a really practical choice. And then if you get done in time, you guys can come watch the musical with me and Onyu.
Oh, that would be so fun. We will get done in time. We will exceed all expectations because I think we're both very type A people. Like, we want to get it done.
Good. All right. I think that you'll be happy with that. The rest will work out well then. So scenario number 2, congratulations. You climbed to the top of a mountain. Unfortunately, you broke your ankle at the top. And now you have to be carried down. It's a good 3-4 hour trip down. Fortunately, you get to have one of your idols, one of your biases, carry you down. Who do you choose?
Jin.
Yes. I think that I thought that was good that you saved him, because those worldwide shoulders will be a good thing to hold on to on the trip down the mountain. And
I saw him run down the mountain in the first episode of Run Jin. So I know he has previous experience scaling mountains and running down. So he would do that. And because he's such a sweetheart, he would probably try to entertain me the whole way down and like tell stories and try to make me laugh. And I think it would be a difficult situation, but he would try his best to make it better.
Will you be singing Super Tuna on your way down the mountain?
Absolutely. He'll probably tell me to shut up because I think he gets embarrassed by it. I don't think he really is, but I would probably sing it over and over again until he told me to stop. And threatened to throw me down the mountain, because he would do something like that. He would absolutely tell me, you better stop or I'm going to throw you down this mountain. And I would be like, you're so funny.
You're so silly.
You're so silly.
Okay. Scenario number 3. What a fun day. You get to sit on the couch and listen from start to finish to all 3 episodes of your very own podcast, K-Poppin' Around Town.
How did you know that was my favorite podcast?
Fortunately or unfortunately, Your K-pop bias has to sit next to you and listen to the whole thing with you. I hope it's not too awkward. So Jaehyun has to listen with you. And I don't know the group as well as you do, so I don't know how his English skills are, but for the sake of this game, he can understand everything you say. So how is that going to be?
Super fun. It would be super fun. I think he would cry when I talked about him.
About him crying.
About him crying. And he would be super silly. Like, he is just so silly sometimes. So I think we would have a great time. And he would enjoy it. And he'd probably tell me inside things that I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
When I talked about stuff. So that would be very nice, because I think he's just young enough to have a little bit of immaturity where he would be like, did you know? So that would be a fun day. I would love that.
All these scenarios worked out really well.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
I am. I am too. I hope that Subin will come to my rescue at the post office.
He will. He definitely will. Okay, that was really fun. All right, I will do the community and culture corner shout out, and then we can wrap up. So I'm excited to share. This is kind of a new one for me, so I'm still getting to know her. But in case anybody's listening for the first time, we're going to end every episode with what we're calling Community and Culture Corner, where we're going to shout out a creator or an organization or a resource that's doing something either in the K-pop space or something that we think is relevant to things that we talk about here. So today I wanted to discuss somebody that I found on Instagram called tk.insights, or Translator Army. So she does a variety of things. She has an Etsy shop. She has fitness and Korean learning challenges. But her main thing is translating BTS content. So you can go to her website and find longer translations for various songs or lives. And like even right now, there are some for the different promotions for the Netflix special that's coming up. But I wanted to speak specifically about just a simple Instagram post she has that I think is so great. She's a Korean American, and she answers the question, is it okay to wear hanbok to a concert if I am not Korean? And she's speaking specifically about the big comeback concert on March 21st, but I think this is very relevant to any K-pop concert. And it's just an Instagram thing. It's one of the posts where you like slide through. So, it takes a couple minutes to read, but it's a super easy read. And first she gives just a little distinction of the difference between cultural appreciation and appropriation, and then some do's and don'ts if you are not Korean, but you want to wear hanbok or a similar style. And obviously it's her opinion, but as a Korean American, I think that her opinion is very valid and worth listening to. And I just think it's a really awesome resource. So we will put that in the show notes.
Sounds great.
And we haven't mentioned this yet. You should also follow us on Instagram if you don't. So that is in the show notes too.
Please do. We try to make lots of fun content.
We do. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll see you next time
on K-Poppin' Around Town.
Woo!